Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. So I'm going to do a little toolbox review. I like to do these once in a while and just talk about the tools I've gotten and what things that have changed and new things I've gotten and things that have worked and haven't worked. And frankly, they seem to get a lot of views, so I think people really do enjoy my toolbox tours. I'm just a DIYer guy. I keep some of my mowers and my cars fixed. I have old vehicles that I repair so I don't have car payments. And I have like really old lawnmowers and stuff too that I managed to keep running. So this is just what I use to fix my stuff. Not all my stuff is big and fancy and expensive and off the big tool truck. I have a few nice things, but mostly I just use what works. So if it turns bolts and it fixes things, I don't really care if it costs $750 or $2 as long as it works. So what we have here first is just kind of the top of my box, and I'll kind of just go through what I keep up here. I've kind of changed the way I organize some of my sockets. I got these blue socket holders at Rural King, and they work really well. I have one of my old Cobalt ones back here that I'm keeping my impact sockets on, which is not a real complete collection. So these are a mixture. These are mostly Harbor Freight. There's a Tech-On one in here somewhere and a Rural King brand one. But none of the sets from Harbor Freight come complete. So I've just kind of been buying a socket here and there and adding on to it. I've found that I really want to have a 10 millimeter, and these both started at 11. So I ordered a deep snap-on 10 millimeter one off of eBay used because 10 millimeter is something I use a lot, so I figured I would pay a little money and get a real good one. My other half-inch drive set, it's fairly complete. I don't have the 25 in deep, but I can deal with that. Starts from 10, goes up to 27 millimeters, skipping 26. But this is just a mixture. I got Husky sockets. That's a gear wrench socket. Another Husky. This is a Job Smart Husky. I've really found that I like Husky tools pretty well. This one, I'm not even sure what it is. It's some Chinese brand. It's actually got like Chinese writing on it, so it's super Chinese. But most of these, have worked really well. The other thing I like is Husky. If you go back to Home Depot, they will exchange their hand tools right at the customer service desk, so that's been real nice. Got my 3/8 drive stuff over here, nice and organized. I got pretty much 7 millimeter through 19 on the deep and 7 millimeter through 21. Skipping 20. It's actually a 21 down here on the end. In the shallow. So this is probably the set I use the most. A lot of this is a Craftsman. That's Harbor Freight. This is some Chinese brand that says Chrome Bandium. And nothing else. This is an Armstrong. So I have quite a few different things here. This is my little 1/4-inch drive set. So mostly all this deep stuff is Harbor Freight stuff. There's one here. This is an AutoZone Duralast. And this is a Stanley. So there's a few other brands mixed in there. And most of these smaller ones came out of a set of Husky sockets. So I don't use 1/4-inch that much, but it can be handy when you're working with smaller stuff. I keep some extra, this is kind of a in-between length socket. This is actually a 1/2-inch drive, but I use it as a 13. And, then I've got this 13 Great Neck, which is just a little longer than most of your shallow sockets. So that gets me into some places. I find that 10 millimeter and 13 is something that I use a lot, so I just keep a couple extra options up here in my 3/8 drive, in case I need them. I also, back here, have, this 33 millimeter. I've used this for taking axle nuts off of GMs when I'm changing out the hubs, because when the ABS sensor or anything goes wrong on those, it's all integrated. You got to change out the whole hub. This is an 1.5 inch socket. I needed it for something. I don't remember what. I think I used it once. It's from Napa. I think it was ungodly expensive, and I've never used it again. And just some extra deep well, different sockets and stuff back here in the corner that are just extras. 1/2 inch drive stuff. I've got my star bits here and 3/8 drive and 1/4 inch. And I was working on something the other day, and I had to get this one bigger one. I need to get another spot and put that one on there too. This is a Duralast one. Go ahead and set that up top here. And I got some of these like Allen things. I'm missing one, but that's okay. I haven't needed it yet. But those are some metric Allens. And this is mostly a Great Neck set that I got at AutoZone a long time ago. Their tools used to be called Great Neck, and now they sell the brand as Duralast. But if you break a Great Neck tool, they will still exchange it out for a Duralast, because these all had a lifetime warranty. And it gives some air tool oil. Just put a few drops whenever I'm using my air tools in there. On the side of my toolbox over here, I keep some, different sized magnetic parts trays. You can never really have too many of those. I keep a transmission funnel, and I just use this little Great Neck, or this little, I forget, the cable cuff is what they call this. It's for extension cords. Works great for keeping a funnel there. I've got some. This is, of course, for when I'm working with Chryslers. I got some extra headache medicine. Got me a little magnet pickup tool there. Keep a little multi-tool and a couple pocket knife here as well, in case I need to cut something. I've got my little light here that I still use all the time, but I got to glue the magnet back in there a little better on it. Let's see here. Let me move you up just a hair. I have my South Main Auto sticker. I love that channel. I really love his personality. He's funny. He's fun to watch. I'm getting some really good diagnoses as well. So I'll go ahead and take you down to the first drawer here. Okay, so here we are in my first drawer. There's nothing too special here. I've got some little these things that go on my impacting drill driver or whatever from Ryobi. I'm putting some sockets on there once in a while. That's real handy for light duty stuff, like you just got to take off a bunch of oil pan bolts or something. Get some off of there fast. Different, extensions. I probably need to get some impact extensions, because as you can probably see there, I've been using that on the impact wrench, and it's kind of wobbling out the end of it. I got a little universal for the impact. And I got a 3/8 drive one here too. I've taped that one up for some reason. Probably trying to reach something weird. And just all my little adapters and things. Got a couple of spark plug sockets. I actually broke my old spark plug socket after years of use, and so I had to go get a new 5/8 one. And this is the Duralast one, and it's a magnet inside that holds the plug. It actually works really well, way better than these old rubber ones. So when I break my 13/16 spark plug socket, I'll probably get one of those. I haven't needed the metric size spark plug sockets yet, but I may one day. Old Snap-on ratchet. Yeah, check that guy out. That bad boy is seeing some use. Still works great though. It's not real fine tooth. But Snap-on Tools USA has got the old-fashioned Snap-on logo on it there. This is a little Husky 1/4 inch. Or is this a Stanley? Oh, this is a Stanley 1/4 inch drive ratchet. Little stubby of some kind. This is a Master Mechanic 3/8 stubby. Don't use it often, but when you need to get in a tight spot, that sure is handy. I have really loved this Stanley ratchet. It's not super fine tooth, but it is fine enough. And it has the locking flex head where you flip the lever and it locks. Um, it locks good. It's got this handle to adjust it that works really well. It's got the push button release for the socket. I have just absolutely loved this wrench. It's $20 at Walmart. And Stanley has a lifetime warranty. I like Stanley because you just call them up and say, I got this wrench, it's this part number, it broke. They just send you another one in the mail and say, throw the old one away. You know what, I gotta wait a few days for it to come in the mail. But the Snap-on, the guy that, spent his entire life savings on his Snap-on stuff, he's got to wait a week for the Snap-on guy to come back around. And Snap-on doesn't have a lifetime warranty. A lot of people think that it does, but it does not. And it only has warranty to the original purchaser. Another Stanley 3/8 drive ratchet. Not super fine tooth, but fine enough. This is an old S&K half-inch drive. It works great. I got this Harbor Freight composite. A lot of you guys have seen this stuff in my previous Toolbox tours, but I'm just kind of going through it again for the people that haven't. This is an old Thorson ratchet. It flips on the side to reverse. It used to be my favorite ratchet. I still use it a lot. It works really well. It's not fine tooth, but this design, I have had 6 feet of bar on the end of this little sucker breaking loose flywheel bolts and harmonic balancer bolts. And this thing takes an incredible amount of torque. That Thorson really isn't around anymore. That's still a brand, but it's just another cheap Chinese brand now. This is a Husky little stubby ratchet. This is the Taiwanese one, slightly older. The new ones that are made in China just are a lot looser. They're not quite as nice, but they're still good. This has just always been my favorite ratchet. I've tore it apart several times and cleaned it and lubed it. I've worn the red off the handle, but I grab this all the time. I got my 1/4 inch and my 3/8 all here. It's long enough that I can get enough leverage to break most stuff loose with it. And it's very fine tooth, and it's very easy turning. I mean, it doesn't take hardly any force at all to get it to click. I got some of these little stubby McThingies from Harbor Freight. These things are really cheap and they suck, but the 3/8 drive one is the nicest. I wouldn't say I'd use the ratcheting in this anyway. This is for when I can just get down in there with like 2 fingers and barely turn something that's in a real tight spot. Me a spark plug gapper. I bought me a new mirror because this one extends. My old one did not extend, so this has been pretty handy. I saw that at AutoZone one day and picked that up. And I got a couple breaker bars. These are Harbor Freight. I got them on sale. 3/8 and a 1/2 inch drive. The breaker bars work just fine. A Sharpie marker in here for writing on my oil labels. I've got me a little thickness measuring tool, whatever they call these things, so you can measure how much clearance you have. Use this with I have a steel straight edge. So a lot of times I use this if I'm getting ready to put a head on and it's used from a junkyard. I'll check to make sure it's not warped first or warped beyond spec. And the next drawer down here is pretty much my screwdriver and pick drawer. So I got me a blow nozzle in here as well. Can't have too many of those. Battery terminal cleaner. This is my old mirror, which the mirror is starting to kind of come out of it, and it's just really old, and it doesn't extend. So I'm happy to have that new one. A little punch. Tire inflator that needs a end to put on it. Tire pressure gauge. This is a screwdriver, and this is a Pratt Reed USA screwdriver. It's a little stubby. I bought it at Rural King. This thing is awesome. It really grips nice. I've been very pleased with this little stubby screwdriver. I'm still using my Stanley Fat Max. I still have them all. I have beat them and abused them for a half a year now, and they still just have taken it and worked beautiful. If you're looking for a really good set of screwdrivers that are going to hold up and grip well, The tips aren't going to break off on you. I've dropped them in the oil pan and soaked them in oil by accident, wiped them off. They haven't. You know, some of your cheap screwdrivers will fall apart when they get oil soaked. Stanley Fat Max really seems there's some nice screwdrivers, so I highly recommend them. And you know, I got this like little great neck star bit tool. Got one of my little pry bars in here. See, this is my M-back screwdriver. I've been trying to find the larger screwdriver bits for this, and I haven't had much luck yet. I thought I had ordered them from Sears, but they were the wrong thing. But I need to get more Phillips bits. And this is normally what I use for brake rotors that have screws on them that you have to break loose. And I got just a little assortment of cheap different kinds of picks and things for getting stuff loose, you know, things like that, or picking on like hoses before you take them off, a straight edge there. So let me move the camera down a little so you can see this. Next drawer is just a pliers drawer. I got some nice long pliers, some really bent 90-degree ones, some partially like 45-degree ones. These are just cheap ones from Tractor Supply. I got these are some Harbor Freight Professional Series vice grips. This is my little cheap snap ring tool. Yeah, it's a really cheap one, but it's a Job Smart, and that's from Tractor Supply. When I've needed it, it's got the job done. But if you're going to use a lot of snap rings, you probably want something better than this. These are some old, like, real, genuine vice grip brand vice grips when they were their own company. Some Stanley pliers. Some electrician's pliers. This little assortment of pliers is pretty much what that drawer is. Okay, so here, I've just got my standard wrenches. You know, I've got everything in here. Stanley. Absolutely no name. This is drop forged. That's the only thing it says. This is also just says drop forged. There's a great net wrench in here somewhere too, I think, or there used to be. But this one is actually a Blue Point reversible ratcheting to 5/8. But you know, I got some really cheap, crappy looking. This one drop forged steel is all it says, 1/2-inch drive. I don't use standard very much. Some adjustable Kentucky wrenches, and then just double box end wrenches, Craftsman, and some pickle fork, you know, driver, taking out ball joints and stuff. So I usually use my pneumatic one these days. So down here, this is my standard sockets. Got some hub caps for the lawnmower. I'm gonna, you know, there are little dust caps that go over. I'm missing one, so I gotta re-grease it and put one on. The inner tie rod removal tool. Very handy tool if you guys do inner tie rods. Highly recommend buying this. Get it on eBay. Order it from China for $5. Free shipping or whatever. Keep it in your toolbox for when you need it. And then just, you know, a set of 3/8 drive sockets that are standard. And then these are metric and standard over here. These are just sizes that don't fit on top that I really never use. I also keep like dielectric tune-up grease, some silicone, some anti-seize, and stuff in here as well. I keep some extra. See, these are extra studs for my Hyundai because it seems like every time you take off a tire, you strip a stud on that thing. I've become an expert at replacing those. And just different metric bolts and stuff down in there. Usually if I go buy one, I buy a couple. So now we'll move on here to the bottom box. Okay, so in here, I've kind of changed things up quite a bit. These are all metric wrenches here. And this handy little tray organizer. There's duplicates. This thing is designed to hold standard and metric, but I just put all metric in it. You know, I got a 10 millimeter. That's a gear wrench. That's the one that's kind of useless because it's not bent right there. It's not offset, I should say. Much better choice. This is a Williams, which is made by Snap-on. Reversible ratcheting wrench that's bent and offset. Get it down here where you can see it. So these are much better. I have a 13, a 15, and I think an 18. I have a 10, a 13, and an 18. I want to get a 15. These aren't cheap. These are like 40 bucks a pop. So I can't afford a whole set. I got, you know, some Stanley wrenches. These have been great wrenches, these Stanleys. I haven't broken any of them. They came in a tool set about years and years ago. There's another Williams reversible 13. And, oh, here's my Blue Point. This is an 18 reversible ratcheting wrench. These from Harbor Freight, these flex head ratcheting wrenches. I'll show you the bigger one. Again, they skip some sizes in there, but these are an excellent investment for the money. They work great. I put struts in a old Silhouette in '99 a couple weekends ago, and you would not have gotten them in there without the 15, or whichever size it was. It might have been 14. I wouldn't have got them in there without these. Got my crow's feet line wrenches, metric. These have worked great when I've needed them. And I went ahead and bought these. I haven't really even used them yet. Just a regular set of crow's feet from Harbor Freight and metric. Like I said, most of the stuff these days I do is metric. So, next drawer down. These things are amazing. Look at the size of this bad boy, man. You can get way down in there. This is the Easy Red. And this one is a universal spline. You can see there. It's offset, flex head, reversible, right there. Ratcheting, extra long wrench. Double box end. Different sizes on each end. So these are like a couple $100 for the set, right? And so I saw a guy on eBay selling a set, and he said, it's a great set, except the 18 end's all busted up on one of them. So I bought them. I got them for like 62 bucks. I emailed Easy Red, and I said, hey, you're still supposed to have a lifetime warranty. What do I got to do to exchange this? They said, send us a picture. And so, you see, I got it in the trash over here somewhere. Yeah. Here's the one that was busted up. This end won't ratchet or turn. And it's got a crack in it. I emailed him a picture, and a couple of days later, it just showed up in a box, a brand new one. So now I have a complete set of working wrenches, these extra long ones, which are just great for getting into tight spots and front wheel drives doing motor mounts and such. They work awesome. So I'm really happy to have these. So I also keep like drill bits, a little file set, stuff like that in here. Here's another new addition. These are my bolt extractors for like rounded off bolts. I got the Craftsman set. I really wanted the Snap-on ones, but they were just too much money. So I went for this nice little Craftsman set. These Craftsmen are made in the USA, believe it or not. So this is another new addition. These are the really big Torx bits. They go from T30 to T70. They're half-inch drive and they're impact rated. So they're great for getting some of them suspension parts out. If you've done some control arms on Chevy Ventures and old Silhouettes, you'll know exactly why these are nice. Some oil filter things, different cutoff wheels and discs, some pry bars and such. Different hammer chisel ends for air hammers, easy outs, C-clamp. This is my Capcom set. It's really not auto related. for driving concrete fasteners in. Now move the camera down. Oh, you can see that whole thing. So this drawer's kind of getting junky. It's some air fittings, some like little plastic things for the things that break off when you pull out like the inner fender liners and stuff. There's tire patching stuff in here. Nitrile rings, hose clamps, some stick welder rods, wire brush, bottom half of a lawnmower blade balancer, for which I already lost the top half to. I'm just going to throw it away. A box for a Tecumseh air filter for my lawnmower with no air filter in it. Throw that away. These O-rings, some any of my air pneumatic little accessories, fittings, gauges is all in here. Another air filter for my lawnmower. That's pretty much what's in that drawer. So here in this drawer is mostly electrical. Timing light, another pair of electrician's pliers down here, wires, hot glue gun, multimeter, label maker, different colors of electrical tape, some different sensors that I've gotten out of the junkyard to test on cars and see if that was the problem. A throttle position sensor, stuff like that. Okay, so down here, these are my oil filter wrenches that I just got. My old one finally broke. These are by Lyle, I believe. It's called the Swivel Gripper. I got it on Amazon. It's got these nice little metal teeth in it, the grip. I got the regular standard size and the small size. And these things are really great. I love them. You know, the handle can bend to get out of, you know, into tight places and such. So, highly recommend those guys. And I got me a torque wrench, 3/8, hole saws, fuel disconnects. I got a, let me find the other piece to it on here. This is the torque angle meter. Got that. Oil change stickers. Some extra sockets. Stuff. Another cutoff wheel. So, lots of good stuff there. Some extra metric bolts. It's all good stuff. So, the bottom drawer. We'll go through that. This is where I keep my air tools. You know, I got my AC servicing kit. This is the time of year I've been doing some of that. I got an extra little hose here without a gauge too. This Husky Impact, man, I really put this thing through some use. Doing some suspension work and stuff on friends' vehicles. I've beat it. I've drug it around in the gravel out front. I mean, this thing's just taken everything I've given it, and it works really awesome. This is like an $80 wrench. You just can't beat it. I just really love it. So it's held up great. It's got plenty of power. It gets the job done. This is a new addition. This is the Cornwell Cat 9000 impacting reactionless air ratchet 3/8 drive. This thing's got some torque for a little air ratchet. It will, you know, I broke loose the rusty lawnmower blade bolts just with this, no problem, on my riding mower deck the other day. It's really nice. I got this used on eBay for like 60 bucks. It's like a $300 tool from Cornwall. Couple of Harbor Freight air hammers. I keep my one with the big hammer bit on it here, just for knocking stuff loose. I keep my other hammer. I just keep the pickle fork attachment on it. That way I'm not changing them back and forth when I'm working on suspension. They're cheap. They're like $12 at Harbor Freight, so I have two of them. This is my cutoff tool from Harbor Freight. It works. If I take it and compare it to this die grinder, look how small the body is compared to the other one. This is Ingersoll Rand. This one has more torque, more power, uses a lot less air than this guy. Less power, and it sucks the air compressor dry. But it works when I need it. I just have to wait for the air compressor to charge back up all the time. And I got some different, roll-lock discs for cleaning stuff. That kind of thing. Got a brad nailer. This is for taking the dog bones out of GM 3400s and rolling them forward and back. Wheel bearing packer. 1/2-inch torque wrench down in here. This is like my pulley puller thingy with all of its different bolts and attachments, like steering wheel puller and stuff. Piece of chain. That's pretty much it. That's what's in my do-it-yourself toolbox. Like I said, I got a few tools that are really nice, and I have a lot of cheap stuff too that most people would call junk. So, that's pretty much how it goes. So it's like really hot out here, by the way. I got the big fan running, but I'm still just sweating in this garage. So I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.